Hello, singing friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Miki here, your friendly neighborhood singing coach. I'm here in a different room of my new house. This is my piano room where I give my lessons, and I just wanted to flip the camera for a moment so you can see my fainting couch over there and my masks on the walls. And I have my Emmy, and I just am very happy with how the room came out. Behind me I have a print that my father made. Both of my parents are visual artists, so I love everything about this room. And I hope you do too. So today I'm going to be reacting to Ofra Haza singing Open Your Heart by Madonna. This was a request from my viewer and friend Laura Sassani. And I had to go back and listen to the Madonna version and watch the video because I hadn't heard it in a long time. And I don't think I'd ever seen the video. And it was kind of funny. It's her dancing in a theater, but the audience is all different men in these cubicles, like they're in the back of an adult film shop. And there's a little boy who's trying to get into the theater because he's a fan of hers and obsessed with her. And at the end, she comes out and she gives him like a pretty innocent peck on the lips, and they dance off into the sunset, her and this little boy. And I was wondering, watching this, how this would play in the current political and PC environment. I don't know if we would be able to get away with that pairing of a little boy and Madonna, even though it is pretty innocent in the video. But I'm curious what your thoughts are, whether that video would survive the current climate or not. So, you know, it's just a funny thing to think about how much artistic expression might be being squashed by the current environment, or whether you think that it's completely appropriate what's happening and that we really should be cracking down on certain forms of visual images and things that are more exploitative, because obviously they're, you know, abuse of children and things like that are very real and things that we want to avoid and discourage at all costs. So it is an interesting issue, and I could see arguments on both sides being very valid. So anyway, with that long intro, let's jump in and listen to the Ofra Haza version. Here we go.
Something I want, don't try to resist me. Open your heart to me. I hold the lock and you hold the key. Open your heart to me. I'll give
Stop it for a moment there. This is so interesting. I mean, this really takes the song out of context, right? It's a completely different creation in Ofra's hands, and it just is, it's much more elegant and gentle and refined than the Madonna version. Not that the Madonna version is not refined. I think it's a great song and I love her performance of it, but there's something that's much more like sexy and more savvy or something, you know, in the Madonna version. Like she just like knows her way around the world and like gets what she wants, and she's just like this force to be reckoned with, whereas this version is much more gentle and elegant. And the production, you know, it's a little bit dated, but I really like the opening where she does those characteristic melismas and those just beautiful silulim with her voice. And even though the production is a little bit rubbing against her voice is just so beautiful, and there's just such a nice, calming elegance to it. I just really enjoy listening to her.
I think that you're afraid to look in my eyes. You look a little sad, boy, I wonder why. I follow you around, but you can't see. Too wrapped up in yourself to notice. So you choose to look to the other way. Don't try to run, I can keep up with you. Nothing can stop me from trying. You've got to open your heart to me. I hold the lock and you hold the key. Open your heart to me. I'll give you
Just gonna stop it for a moment there. So, you know, it's funny because obviously she's been called the Madonna of the Middle East, and yet you can see how different they are here. And I think that's appropriate because you can interpret this song as this like sexy seduction song, which is kind of the Madonna version, you know, where she's like driving. She's the one in charge and she's like gonna get what she wants. And the Ofra Haza version is more of like this innocent kind of love song, you know? And you could definitely read the lyrics, open your heart to me, I'll give you love if you turn the key, as something a little bit more innocent and beautiful, even though there is kind of this like double entendre there that can be like interpreted in a very sexy kind of raunchy way. In this version, it's taken in a whole different direction. One thing that I noticed about this is I wish that the production were a little bit more driving and gave a little bit more aggression or power, because it is very gentle and her voice is very gentle as well. She does belt very nicely on that chorus, and that beat does come in and that gives it a little bit more momentum. But in the beginning, it's almost too soft and her voice is very soft as well. So the two are just a little bit too gentle for me. But I think it really hits its stride when it gets to the chorus. The other thing I noticed is that I can really hear her like altered pronunciation of certain words in the song, whereas she's such a chameleon and she can sing in so many different languages, and it always sounds like she's a native speaker and fluent completely. In this one, you can kind of hear her tweaking the vowels in a way that a native English speaker wouldn't, and this is one of the first times that I've noticed that with her singing, and it is very charming and sweet, the way that some of the words are pronounced in this very unique way that only she would pronounce them that way, you know? So it's something that's cool about this song.
open your heart with a key. One is such a lonely number. Open your heart. I beg you love me. Open your heart.
So I enjoyed very much that extended outro where she was really playing around, and it almost sounded like she was experimenting with variations on the melody in real time. Of course, they were all executed very well, and none of the notes were outside of the scale or anything like that. She landed every single one of those little melismas and ornaments, and her note choices were all excellent, but it almost had this very improv-y feel. So that was really cool. So overall, I really enjoyed this. I think it's a nice example of her experimenting, and this is like a B-side, you know, it's a really interesting little deep cut, a hidden gem. I wouldn't say that this is something that I would like put out as a single, you know, like it wasn't really tight and it didn't really hit me. The production sounded a little bit dated. And she definitely took it in more of like an esoteric interpretation than the original. But I really enjoyed it, being as I am a big fan of hers, and I love hearing her brain at work and hearing her experiment and do interesting things with her voice. It's one of these things that makes me wish that she was still alive and that we could hear what she would do with something like this, or, you know, now, or what she would do with some of the pop songs that are out now. And I love that she took it in a completely different direction and really infused it with the spirit of her singing and her style. So I enjoyed it very much. I hope that you enjoyed my reaction, and I will see you guys here next time for another singing video. Until then, take care, and of course, happy singing.